The space station hung in the darkness like a massive jewel. Nexus 7 was its name, and it was the biggest meeting place for aliens in this part of the galaxy. Doyen pressed his face against the window of the transport ship and stared at it. His breath fogged the glass. He was 28 years old, and this was his first time leaving Earth. His job was to study alien plants and animals. Now he was going to see them with his own eyes. His dark hair was messy because he kept running his hands through it. He did that when he was excited. Captain Hyagin walked up behind him. She was older than Doyen, with sharp eyes and a stern face. She wore her uniform perfectly. Everything about her was strict and organized. "Stay close to the group," she said. "We don't know these aliens yet. They might seem friendly, but we need to be careful." Doyen nodded, but he wasn't really listening. He was too excited. Earth had only joined the Galactic Council 5 years ago. Humans were still new to space. Most aliens had never seen a human before. The ship docked with a soft thump. The doors opened and Doyen stepped onto the station. The air smelled different. It was clean but strange, like metal and flowers mixed together. The gravity felt lighter than Earth. He bounced a little with each step. Aliens were everywhere. Some had too many legs. Some had no legs at all and just floated. There were creatures with fur, scales, feathers, and skin that looked like glass. Doyen tried not to stare, but it was hard. Everything was so new. One alien looked like a giant crab. It waved a claw at them. That was Ambassador Threll. He was in charge of trade talks. His voice came from a translator device on his shell. "Welcome, humans," Threll said. His voice sounded scratchy through the translator. "Your quarters are ready. The dining area serves food your species can eat. Try not to touch anything you don't understand." That last part sounded like a warning. Captain Hyagin thanked him and led the team to their rooms. But Doyen had other plans. He had read about the station's biodome. It was a huge garden with plants from 100 different worlds. He had to see it. He slipped away from the group. The corridors twisted and turned. Signs on the walls showed symbols he couldn't read, but he found a map screen and pressed buttons until it showed him the way to the biodome. The biodome was beautiful. The ceiling was made of clear material so he could see the stars. Trees grew in strange shapes. Some had silver leaves, some glowed with soft blue light. Flowers released puffs of colored gas. Small creatures that looked like flying jellyfish drifted between the branches. Doyen walked slowly, looking at everything. He pulled out his datapad and started taking notes. This was amazing. This was why he became a scientist. Then he saw her. She was tending to a patch of plants that sparkled like gems. She had a long body covered in scales that changed color as she moved. Purple, then green, then purple again. She looked like a snake, but she had arms. Her head was elegant and her eyes were bright yellow. She looked up and saw him. For a moment they just stared at each other. Then she smiled. At least Doyen thought it was a smile. "Hello," Doyen said. "I'm sorry if I'm not supposed to be here." "I just wanted to see the plants." The alien tilted her head. Her translator crackled to life. "You are human, the new species. I am Velrith. I work here as a cultural liaison. You are welcome in the biodome." Her voice was soft and musical. Doyen smiled. He walked closer and they started talking about the plants. Velrith knew so much. She told him which ones could heal wounds, which ones made light without heat, which ones grew in the dark. Doyen noticed something odd. Whenever other aliens walked past, they would stop and stare. Some would back away quickly. A few even ran. But Velrith didn't seem to notice, or maybe she was used to it. "Why do they do that?" Doyen asked. Velrith's scales turned a darker shade. "My species makes them afraid. We have venom. Very strong venom. Even a small bite kills most creatures very fast." "Oh," Doyen said. He looked at her with interest, not fear. "That's actually really interesting from a biological perspective. How does the venom work? Is it neurotoxic or hemotoxic?" Velrith blinked in surprise. Most people didn't ask questions like that. Most people just ran away. They kept talking. Doyen was completely fascinated. Velrith started to relax. She reached for a plant on a high shelf. Doyen reached for the same plant. Their hands touched. Well, his hand and her tail. Just for a second, Velrith went completely still. Her scales flashed bright red. She pulled back so fast she almost fell over. "No," she whispered. No, Bill, what's wrong?" Doyen asked. "I touched you. I bit you. My tail, it has venom. I am so sorry. I am so sorry." Velrith's voice was shaking. Doyen looked at his hand. There was a tiny red mark where her tail had brushed him. It tingled a little bit, but it didn't really hurt. "It's okay," he said. "I'm fine, see? It doesn't even hurt much. Just feels tingly," but Velrith wasn't listening. She was making a strange sound, almost like crying. Other aliens heard and came running. When they saw Velrith near Doyen, they started shouting. Some ran away. Some grabbed communication devices and called for help. Within minutes, alarm bells rang through the station. Medical teams rushed into the biodome wearing heavy protective suits. Security officers formed a circle around Velrith. She was still saying she was sorry over and over. Captain Heejin came running. When she saw Doyen standing there, she looked angry and terrified at the same time. "What did you do?" she demanded. "I just talked to her about plants," Doyen said. He was confused. Everyone was acting like something terrible had happened, but he felt fine. A medical officer approached. He looked like he was made of crystals. Light moved through his body in patterns. His name was Dr. Corvin. He held up a scanning device and waved it over Doyen. The device made a terrible beeping sound. Dr. Corvin's surface cracked slightly. That meant he was upset or scared. "Human," Dr. Corvin said slowly. "You have been bitten by a Korvax. Their venom is the most deadly substance known to galactic science. Every species we have ever tested dies within 3 seconds of exposure. Every single one. No exceptions." Everyone stared at Doyen. He looked around at all the scared faces. "But I don't feel dead," he said. Dr. Corvin checked his scanner again. He tapped it. He shook it. He checked it one more time. "You should be dead," he said. His voice was barely a whisper now. "By all known biological laws, you should have been dead within 3 seconds. But you are still alive. You are still standing. You are still talking. This is impossible." Doyen scratched the small red mark on his hand. It didn't even itch much anymore. He smiled at Velrith, trying to make her feel better. She looked like she might faint. "Well," Doyen said cheerfully, "I guess humans are tougher than you thought." The entire biodome was silent. Everyone just stared at the human who should be dead but was instead smiling like nothing had happened. In that moment, everything the galaxy thought it knew about humans began to change. The medical bay was chaos. Doctors and nurses from different species rushed around. Machines beeped and flashed. The smell of antiseptic filled the air. In the middle of it all, Doyen sat in a clear isolation chamber reading his datapad like nothing was wrong. Captain Heejin stood outside the chamber with her arms crossed. Her face was angry, but her eyes showed worry. Behind her, 3 security officers stood ready. They didn't know what to expect. No one did. Dr. Corvin moved from machine to machine. His crystal body flickered with different colors. Red meant he was stressed. The red was very bright. "Run the test again," he told his assistant. The assistant was a small creature with 6 arms. It pressed buttons on a control panel. "Same results, doctor," the assistant said. "The human has Korvax venom in his bloodstream. A lot of it. Enough to kill 50 Threllians." Ambassador Threll had arrived. His big crab body barely fit through the door. He clicked his claws together nervously. "This is very bad," Threll said. "The Korvax have strict laws about their venom. If the human dies, it could cause a war. Even accidents have started wars before." "He is not going to die," Captain Hyojin said firmly, but her voice shook a little. "Humans are strong. We survive things." "Captain, please understand," Dr. Corvin said. He turned to face her. "Korvax venom has a 100% death rate. We have tested it on 300 different species. All of them died in seconds. This is not about being strong. This is about basic biology." Inside the chamber, Doyen looked up from his datapad. He tapped on the glass to get their attention. When they looked at him, he held up his hand. The red mark was still there, but it was smaller now. "Can I come out now?" he asked through the speaker. "I really want to get dinner. The others are probably waiting." Everyone stared at him. Dr. Corvin's color shifted to bright orange. That meant he was confused and amazed. "You want dinner?" Dr. Corvin repeated slowly. "Yes, I am kind of hungry. It has been a few hours." Doyen smiled. He seemed completely relaxed. In another room, Velrith was also in isolation, but her chamber looked more like a prison. She sat curled up in a corner. Her scales were dark gray, almost black. That meant she was very sad. Tears ran down her face. "I killed him," she whispered. "I killed the human. I destroyed everything my people worked for. We will never be accepted now." A guard stood outside her chamber. He was a Threllian like the ambassador but smaller. He felt sorry for Velrith. Everyone knew it was an accident. The human is still alive, the guard said quietly. Velrith looked up. Her yellow eyes were wide. She didn't believe him. That is impossible, she said. I know, but it is true. The doctors are very confused. Back in the main medical bay, Captain Hyejin made a decision. She turned to Dr. Corvin. I want you to download Earth's medical database, all of it. Maybe there is something about human biology that explains this. Dr. Corvin nodded. His assistant started the download. It would take time. Earth's medical knowledge was huge. While they waited, more doctors arrived. Some came from other parts of the station. Some came from nearby ships. Everyone wanted to see the impossible human. A female human walked into the medical bay. She wore a lab coat and carried a bag full of equipment. Her name was Yuna. She was a biochemist and part of the human crew. She looked serious and focused. I heard what happened, Yuna said to Captain Hyejin. I brought my testing equipment. I want to study his blood. Captain Hyejin nodded. Yuna set up her equipment next to the isolation chamber. A medical drone went inside and took a blood sample from Doyen. He didn't even flinch when the needle went in. Yuna ran her tests. Her eyes got wider and wider as she looked at the results. This is amazing, she whispered. His immune system is going crazy. Look at these antibody counts. They are through the roof. Dr. Corvin came to look. He saw the numbers and his whole body turned bright white. That meant he was shocked beyond words. The Earth database finished downloading. Dr. Corvin started reading through it. He went to the section about toxicology, about poisons and venoms. What he saw there made him stop moving completely. Captain Hyejin, he said quietly, please come here. She walked over. Dr. Corvin pointed at the screen. It showed information about Earth, the planet humans came from. Your world, Dr. Corvin said. It is classified as a Class 12 death world. What does that mean? Captain Hyejin asked. It means Earth is one of the most dangerous planets in known space. The oxygen levels would poison most species. The gravity would crush them. The temperature changes would kill them. And the predators... Dr. Corvin scrolled through images. Look at these creatures. Sharks, crocodiles, snakes, spiders, jellyfish, box jellyfish. Your world is full of things that kill. Captain Hyejin looked at the pictures. To her, they were just normal animals. Things she had seen all her life. These are not that dangerous, she said. We have medicine for most of them. That is my point, Dr. Corvin said. You have medicine because you need it. Most worlds don't have these problems. Most worlds are safe, but humans evolved in a place where everything tried to kill them. So they became very good at surviving. Ambassador Threll moved closer to look at the screen. He saw a picture of a mosquito. This small creature, he said. It says here it kills more humans than any other animal. Yes, through disease, Captain Hyejin said. Malaria, mostly. And humans still survived as a species, Threll said slowly. Even with millions of these killing them, more information came up on the screen. A list of toxins that humans consumed. For fun, alcohol, Dr. Corvin read. A poison that damages the liver. Humans drink it on purpose, capsaicin, a chemical weapon used by plants. Humans put it in their food and call it spicy. Caffeine, a nerve toxin. Humans drink it every morning. The assistant with 6 arms spoke up. She sounded scared. Her voice was very quiet, but she had something to say. Doctor, the assistant said, if humans evolved to survive all of these poisons, then maybe Korvac's venom is just another poison to them. Maybe it is not special. Maybe it is just normal. The room went silent. Everyone thought about that. Inside his chamber, Doyen had given up asking to leave. He had found a game on his datapad and was playing it. He looked completely fine. His skin had normal color. His breathing was steady. His heart rate was normal. He should be dead. Every test said he should be dead. But he was alive. Not just alive, but healthy. Not just healthy, but bored. Yuna finished her analysis. She called everyone over to her workstation. Her hand shook as she showed them her results. The venom is breaking down, she said. His body is destroying it. But that is not the interesting part. The interesting part is how his immune system is not just fighting the venom. It is learning from it. It is adapting. Look at this graph. She pointed to a line that went up and up. It was rising fast. These are antibodies, Yuna explained. Special proteins that fight toxins. Doyen's body is making them faster than I have ever seen. At this rate, in a few days, he will be completely immune to Korvac's venom. Not resistant, immune. It will not hurt him at all. Dr. Corvin turned all the colors at once, red, orange, white, yellow. He could not process this information. It went against everything he knew about biology. Adaptation takes generations, he said. Evolution is slow. You cannot adapt to a toxin in hours. That is impossible. For most species, yes, Yuna agreed. But humans are from a death world. We had to adapt fast or die. Our immune systems are extremely aggressive. They learn quickly. They have to. On Earth, if you could not adapt fast, you did not survive. Captain Heejin felt pride and worry at the same time. Pride because humans were amazing. Worry because now everyone knew how dangerous humans could be. Ambassador Threll backed away from the isolation chamber. He looked at Doyen with new eyes. Not as a diplomat, not as a scientist, but as a predator, a creature from a death world, something that could survive anything. The galaxy had just learned something terrifying. Humans were not fragile. They were not weak. They were the opposite. They came from a world that tried to kill them every day. And they had won. The conference room was packed. Beings from dozens of different species filled every seat. Some stood along the walls. Others floated near the ceiling. Everyone wanted to hear about the human who survived the impossible. A huge hologram floated in the center of the room. It showed Earth spinning slowly. The planet looked blue and green and beautiful. But the data around it told a different story. Numbers and warnings flashed in red. Dr. Corvin stood at the front of the room. His crystal body was calm now. He had spent all night preparing this presentation. He needed everyone to understand. Thank you for coming, Dr. Corvin began. Yesterday, something happened that should have been impossible. A human survived contact with Korvac's venom. Today, I will explain why this happened. But first, you need to understand where humans come from. He pressed a button. The hologram of Earth grew larger. New information appeared. Earth is classified as a Class 12 death world. Only 2 planets in known space are more dangerous. Let me show you why. Dr. Corvin pressed another button. The atmosphere is 21% oxygen. For most of you, breathing this air would burn your lungs in minutes. The audience murmured. Several aliens shifted uncomfortably in their seats. The gravity is 9.8 meters per second squared. This would crush 70% of known species. The temperature swings from 50 degrees below freezing to 50 degrees above. The sun produces radiation that causes cancer. The planet has violent storms, earthquakes, volcanoes, and tsunamis. Images appeared in the hologram. A tornado ripping apart buildings. A volcano spitting fire. Waves as tall as mountains crashing onto shore. The audience gasped. But the environment is not the worst part, Dr. Corvin continued. The worst part is the life. Let me show you Earth's ecosystem. New images filled the hologram. A great white shark with rows of teeth. A saltwater crocodile crushing bones. A king cobra with fangs dripping venom. A box jellyfish with tentacles full of poison. A polar bear with claws like knives. A tiger jumping onto prey. Each of these creatures would be considered an apex predator on most worlds. Earth has hundreds of them. And humans? Dr. Corvin paused. Humans are at the top of the food chain. The room was silent. Everyone stared at the images. A Threllian delegate raised a claw. How did they reach the top? The Threllian asked. Humans have no natural weapons. No claws, no venom. No armor, intelligence, Dr. Corvin said simply. And endurance. Humans are persistence hunters. They do not run fast. But they never stop running. They chase prey for hours, for days, until the prey collapses from exhaustion. Then humans kill it. More images showed humans running, sweating, always moving, never stopping. But we are here to talk about toxins, Dr. Corvin said. Let me show you some of the venomous creatures on Earth. He pressed another button. Hundreds of images appeared. Snakes, spiders, scorpions, centipedes, jellyfish, fish, frogs, even some mammals. Humans evolved alongside all of these. Their immune systems learned to fight toxins. Not just one toxin. Thousands of different toxins. Captain Hyejin sat in the front row. She felt strange. All of this seemed normal to her. But looking at the shocked faces around her, she realized Earth was not normal at all. Now I will invite the human to speak, Dr. Corvin said. He gestured toward the door. Doyen walked in. He had been released from isolation that morning. He wore casual clothes and still carried his datapad. He smiled and waved at everyone. Several aliens flinched. They saw him differently now, not as a friendly scientist, but as something dangerous. "Hello," Doyen said. "Dr. Corvin asked me to answer some questions." Ambassador Threll stood up. He looked at Doyen carefully. "Studying him, human Doyen," Threll said. "What does your species do when bitten by venomous creatures?" Doyen thought for a moment. The question seemed so simple to him. Well, it depends on the creature. For most snake bites, we have antivenom, medicine that stops the poison. For spider bites, we clean the wound and maybe take some pills. For bee stings, we just put ice on it. It hurts for a little while, then goes away. "Bee stings," a small floating alien repeated. "Just ice? Yes, I mean, some people are allergic and need special medicine, but most people are fine. I have been stung maybe 20 times in my life. It is not fun, but it is not dangerous." The audience looked shocked. 20 venomous attacks and he was still alive. It was incredible. "Some humans keep venomous snakes as pets," Doyen added. "There are whole communities of people who breed them. They find them beautiful." Several aliens made sounds of disbelief. One actually fainted and had to be carried out. Another delegate stood. She was tall and thin with purple skin. "Do humans have any natural predators?" she asked. Doyen smiled. This was an interesting question. "We used to. Big cats, bears, crocodiles, wolves. But we hunted most of them until they were rare. Now we protect them because there are so few left. We almost made them extinct by accident." "You killed your predators?" the purple alien asked. "Not on purpose. We just expanded. Built cities. Farmed land. There was less space for them. And when they attacked us, we fought back. Some we turned into pets. Dogs used to be wolves. Cats used to be wild hunters. Now they live in our homes." Ambassador Threll clicked his claws slowly. He was thinking. Processing this information. "So humans are apex predators who turned their enemies into companions," Threll said. "Fascinating and terrifying." In the back of the room, Velrith watched through a hologram feed. She was not allowed to attend in person yet. There were still legal issues to resolve. But she could watch. And she was amazed she had felt so guilty. She thought she killed Doyen. But now she understood. Her venom was not special to humans. It was just another toxin. Just another danger in a life full of dangers. A Galactic Council member stood up. He was old and had the respect of everyone in the room. "This information changes everything," the council member said. "We thought humans were fragile, like us. We thought they needed protection in the galaxy. But we were wrong. They do not need protection. They are the protection." Captain Heejin stood up. She knew she had to say something. This was important. "Yes, humans are resilient," she said. "Yes, we come from a dangerous world. But that does not make us violent. We do not want to hurt anyone. We want to help. We want to share what we know. Our medicine, our science, our strength." The room was quiet. Everyone was thinking about what she said. Could they trust these Death World creatures? Could they work together? Doyen raised his hand like a student in class. It made him look young and innocent. "Not dangerous at all. Can I say something?" Doyen asked. Dr. Corvin nodded. Doyen walked to the center of the room under the hologram of Earth. "Yes, Earth is dangerous, but it is also beautiful. That danger taught us to value life. Every human knows death. We grow up with it, so we cherish every day. We help each other. We build communities. We create art and music and stories, not because life is easy, but because life is hard." He paused and looked around the room, making eye contact with as many aliens as he could. "We do not want you to fear us. We want to be your friends, your allies. Yes, we can survive toxins, but we would rather make medicine. Yes, we can endure pain, but we would rather prevent it. That is what humans do. We survive, and then we help others survive too." The room was silent for a long moment. Then slowly one alien started clapping. Then another. Then another. Soon the whole room was filled with sounds of approval. Different species made different sounds. Clapping, clicking, humming, chirping. But they all meant the same thing. Respect. Captain Heejin felt tears in her eyes. This was why they came to space. Not to conquer, not to dominate, but to connect, to find others in the vast darkness, and maybe, just maybe, to make them less afraid. As the presentation ended, Yuna approached Doyen. She had news. Her expression was serious. "We need to talk," Yuna said quietly. "I finished analyzing your antibodies. They are not just fighting the venom. They are learning from it. Your immune system is adapting faster than I thought possible. In 2 days you will be completely immune." "But that is not all. What else?" Doyen asked. Yuna looked around to make sure no one was listening. Then she leaned close. "I think we can use your antibodies to help others, to create a universal antivenom. We could save lives across the galaxy, but we need to be careful. If the wrong people learn about this..." She did not finish the sentence. She did not need to, Doyen understood. Human biology was special, valuable, and in the wrong hands it could be weaponized. The galaxy had just learned that humans were dangerous. Now they needed to prove they were also kind, that they could be trusted with their power. It would not be easy, but then again, nothing ever was. And if there was one thing humans were good at, it was surviving the impossible. Together. 2 days had passed since the presentation. The research laboratory was busy. Machines hummed. Lights blinked. Scientists from different worlds worked side by side. This was new. This was important. Yuna stood at her workstation surrounded by screens showing data. Blood samples. Antibody counts. Protein structures. She had not slept much. Too much to learn. Too much at stake. Dr. Corvin worked beside her. His crystal body glowed softly in the dim lab. He was fascinated by human biology. Every test revealed something new. "Look at this," Yuna said. She pointed to a graph on her screen. "These are Doyen's antibodies, 72 hours after exposure. The venom is completely neutralized." Dr. Corvin leaned closer. His light flickered with amazement. Not just neutralized. His body has created a blueprint. If he is exposed again, his immune response will be instant. He is effectively immune, Yuna nodded. "But there is more. I think we can extract these antibodies, use them as a base for a universal antivenom. It could work on other species." The implications were huge. For centuries, the Korvax had been isolated, feared, avoided. Their venom was a death sentence. But if humans could produce a cure, everything would change. In another part of the station, Doyen and Velrith sat in the biodome. They had become friends. She still felt guilty, but Doyen never blamed her. Not once. "Tell me about your home," Doyen said. "What is your planet like?" Velrith's scales shifted to a soft purple. That color meant she was calm, remembering. "It is beautiful," she said. "Warm. Green. We have forests that stretch forever, rivers that shine in the sunlight. But we are alone there. My people do not leave often. Other species are afraid of us. That must be lonely," Doyen said. "It is. We have so much to offer. Our knowledge of biochemistry is advanced. Our art is unique, but no one wants to learn from us. They only see the venom." Doyen smiled. "Maybe that will change now. You saved my life in a way. Your venom taught us something valuable." Velrith looked at him with surprise. "How did I save your life?" "You showed the galaxy that humans are strong, that we can survive. And more importantly, you gave us a chance to help. Yuna thinks we can make medicine from my antibodies. Medicine that will protect others from venom. Not just your venom. All venom." Velrith's scales flashed bright gold. That was joy, hope. She could barely speak. "You would do that? For my people?" "For everyone," Doyen said. "That is what humans do. We help." Before Velrith could respond, alarms started blaring. Red lights flashed throughout the station. A voice came over the speakers. "Emergency. All personnel report to stations. Unknown ship approaching." Doyen and Velrith ran toward the command center. Other aliens were running too. Everyone looked scared. The station rarely had emergencies. Captain Hyejin was already in the command center. She stood before a large screen showing the approaching ship. Ambassador Threll was beside her. His claws clicked nervously. "What is happening?" Doyen asked. "That ship," Captain Hyejin said, pointing at the screen. "It sent a distress signal. Their crew is dying. Some kind of poison." The ship docked within minutes. Medical teams in protective suits rushed to help. The crew was brought into quarantine. There were 5 of them. Different species. All of them were very sick. Dr. Corvin began scanning them immediately. His body turned bright red. That meant danger, stress. "This is not natural," he said. "This toxin is synthetic, made in a laboratory. It is attacking their neural systems. all of them at once despite being different species. Yuna pushed her way into the quarantine room. She took samples from each patient. Her hands moved quickly, efficiently. She had seen this before, or something like it. When she analyzed the samples, her face went pale. She ran to find Doyen. "This toxin," she said breathlessly. "It is based on Korvac's venom, but it has been modified, weaponized. Someone engineered this to kill. Who would do that?" Doyen asked. "I do not know. But we need to act fast. These people have maybe an hour, maybe less." Doyen looked at Captain Hyejin, then at Dr. Corvin, then at Yuna. Everyone was waiting, hoping. They needed a solution. "Give me a sample of the toxin," Doyen said. "Inject me with it." The room went silent. Captain Hyejin grabbed his arm. "Absolutely not. That is too dangerous. We do not know if your body can fight this. We do not have time to find another way," Doyen said. "My immune system adapted to Korvac's venom. This toxin is similar. Maybe my body can learn to fight it too. And if it can, Yuna can make an anti-venom. This could kill you," Captain Hyejin said. Her voice was shaking. "It will definitely kill them," Doyen said, pointing toward the dying crew. "We have to try." Dr. Corvin looked at Yuna. "Can this work?" Yuna hesitated, then nodded slowly. "Maybe. His immune system is remarkable. If any species can survive this, humans can." Captain Hyejin closed her eyes. She knew Doyen was right, but she did not want to lose him. Finally, she nodded. "Do it. But I want every monitor on him, every machine watching. If anything goes wrong, we stop immediately." They moved to a medical chamber. Doyen sat down. Medical drones attached sensors to his chest, arms, and head. Yuna prepared a small dose of the toxin. Her hand shook as she loaded the injector. "Ready?" she asked. Doyen smiled. "As ready as I will ever be." The needle went into his arm. The toxin entered his bloodstream. For a moment, nothing happened. Everyone held their breath. Then Doyen gasped. His body went rigid. The monitors started beeping frantically. His temperature spiked, then dropped. His heart rate became erratic. "His vitals are crashing," Dr. Corvin said. "The toxin is stronger than we thought." Captain Hyejin moved toward him, but Yuna stopped her. "Wait, look at the antibody production. It is starting." On the screens, numbers began rising, slowly at first, then faster. Doyen's immune system was waking up, recognizing the threat, responding. Sweat poured down Doyen's face. His muscles twitched. It hurt a lot, but he stayed conscious. He focused on breathing, in and out. In and out. 5 minutes passed. The longest 5 minutes of everyone's lives. Then Doyen's vitals began to stabilize. His heart rate evened out, his temperature normalized. The monitors stopped their frantic beeping. He opened his eyes, looked around, smiled weakly. "That was unpleasant," he said. The room erupted. Relief, joy, amazement. He had done it. He had survived again. Yuna was already drawing his blood. Working fast, they still had less than an hour to save the dying crew. She isolated the antibodies, created a synthesis, made enough doses for all 5 patients. The whole process took 30 minutes. It felt like 30 hours. The antivenom was injected into the most critical patient first, a large alien with gray skin. His breathing was shallow, his pulse weak. They watched, waited, hoped. Then his breathing deepened. His color improved. His eyes opened. He was going to live. One by one, all 5 patients received the treatment. One by one, they recovered. The medical staff could not believe it. A cure created in minutes, from human blood. As the last patient stabilized, Ambassador Threll approached Captain Hyejin. His expression was serious. "Grave Captain," he said quietly, "we need to talk." Privately, they went to a secure room. Threll activated privacy shields. No one could hear them now. "I just received intelligence from Galactic Security," Threll said. "That toxin attack was not random. It was a test. Someone is developing biological weapons. Weapons designed to target Deathworld species." Captain Hyejin felt cold. "Who?" "A group called the Purifiers. They are extremists. They believe Deathworld species are too dangerous to exist. They want to eliminate them. And humans?" Threll paused. "Humans are at the top of their list." The secure conference room was full. Representatives from Galactic Security filled the seats. Military officers, Intelligence agents, diplomats, everyone looked worried. The threat was real. A hologram floated above the table. It showed star maps. Red dots marked locations where the purifiers had been active. There were too many dots. Ambassador Threll stood at the head of the table. His usual calm was gone. This was serious. Perhaps the most serious threat the galaxy had faced in decades. The purifiers have been operating for 3 years, Threll began. We thought they were just a small extremist group. We were wrong. They have cells in 40 systems. They have funding, resources, and worst of all, they have scientists. A security officer stood. He was tall with blue skin and 4 arms. What do they want? To purge the galaxy of Deathworld species, Threll said. They believe civilized space should only include peaceful species. They see Deathworld natives as violent, dangerous. They want them eliminated. Captain Heejin sat forward. Her jaw was tight, her eyes hard. How many species are on their list? 17, Threll said. But humans are their priority. You are the newest, the most unknown, and after what happened with the Korvax venom, they know you are the most dangerous. A new voice spoke from the back of the room. It was strong, clear. Everyone turned to look. A human man walked forward. He wore dark clothing. He had scars on his face. His eyes were sharp, alert. This was Jiwon. He was part of the security team. I have been tracking the purifiers for 6 months, Jiwon said. I was undercover on that ship, the one that was poisoned. I let them poison me to maintain my cover. Captain Heejin stared at him. You knew you might die? Yes, but I needed to confirm they had weaponized the toxin. Now we know, and we know their next target, this station, specifically the human quarters. The room erupted, everyone talking at once. Security protocols, evacuation plans, defense strategies. Threll raised his claws. Silence. Let him finish. Jiwon continued. They have an agent on this station, working in environmental systems. They plan to release a human-specific toxin through the air vents. Everyone in the human quarters will be exposed. When? Captain Heejin demanded. Soon, maybe hours. I do not have an exact time. Then we evacuate, a security officer said. Get all humans off the station. No, Captain Heejin said. If we evacuate, they will know we are onto them. They will go underground. We will never catch them, and they will try again somewhere else. So what do you suggest? Threll asked. We set a trap. We make them think they have succeeded, and we catch them when they come to confirm the kill. That is risky, Threll said. Everything is risky, Captain Heejin replied. But this might be our only chance. The plan was made. Security teams would hide throughout the station, monitoring, waiting. The humans would stay in their quarters. Act normal. When the attack came, they would be ready. Yuna worked frantically in her lab. She needed to be prepared. If the toxin was released, they would need anti-venom immediately. She used Doyen's antibody data to create several batches, enough for the entire human crew, just in case. Doyen and Velrith sat together in a quiet corner. They both knew what was coming. Both knew it was dangerous. I am scared, Velrith admitted. Her scales were dark, worried. Me too, Doyen said. But we will get through this, together. Velrith looked at him with her yellow eyes. Why are you not angry? These people want to kill you. All of you, anger will not help right now, Doyen said. Fear is a tool. It keeps us alert, makes us careful. But anger clouds judgment. We need to be smart. Velrith marveled at his calm. This was a Deathworld trait too, not just physical strength, but mental strength. The ability to face death without panic. Hours passed. Night cycle came to the station. Most aliens went to sleep. But security teams stayed awake, watching, waiting. Then it happened. Jiwon spotted movement on the security cameras. A figure in maintenance uniform approached the environmental controls for the human quarters. The agent. He is making his move, Jiwon whispered into his communicator. All teams stand by. They watched as the agent opened a panel, pulled out a small device, attached it to the air circulation system. The device blinked, started releasing gas. Inside the human quarters, alarms should have sounded immediately, but Captain Heejin had disabled them. They needed the agent to think the attack was working. The gas spread through the ventilation, into the quarters where humans slept, or pretended to sleep. They all wore masks, hidden breathing apparatus. The toxin could not hurt them if they did not breathe it, but they had to make it look real. Some humans started coughing, stumbling, acting like they were affected. It was a performance, and their lives depended on it being believable. The agent watched through a hidden camera, smiled, sent a message, success, targets neutralized. Now, Captain Hyejin ordered. Security teams moved in, fast, silent. They surrounded the agent before he could react. He reached for a weapon, but it was too late. 4 arms grabbed him, lifted him, restrained him. But when they searched the environmental room, they found something worse. Much worse. This was not just one agent. This was a laboratory, equipment, chemicals, files. The purifiers had been operating on the station for months, and they had already released the real toxin. Not through the vents, through the water system. The humans had been drinking poisoned water for hours. Captain Hyejin ripped off her mask, ran to the command center. "Get Dr. Corvin, get Yuna, now!" They tested the water, confirmed it, contaminated, heavily contaminated. Every human who had drunk water in the last 6 hours was poisoned, which was all of them. How long? Captain Hyejin asked Dr. Corvin. How long before symptoms appear? Dr. Corvin analyzed the toxin. His body turned dark red. This is bad, very bad. 30 minutes, maybe less. Already some humans were feeling it. Dizziness, nausea, muscle weakness. The toxin was designed specifically for human biology. It attacked neural pathways, shut down motor functions, paralyzed the respiratory system. Yuna worked faster than she had ever worked. She had antivenom prepared, but it was based on the airborne toxin. This waterborne version was different, similar but different. Would it work? She did not know, but they had to try. There was no time for testing, no time for analysis, just action. "Wait," Doyen said. His voice was weak. He was one of the first showing symptoms. He had drunk more water than most. "What?" Yuna asked. "The Korvax venom. It is similar to this toxin. Both attack neurons. What if we use Korvax venom to trigger our immune systems? Make our bodies fight both toxins at once?" Dr. Corvin turned bright white. Shock. "That is insane. The venom would kill you. We are already dying," Doyen said. He was sweating now, shaking. "What do we have to lose?" Yuna looked at Captain Hyejin, then at Dr. Corvin. Everyone was thinking the same thing. It was crazy. Completely crazy. But maybe crazy enough to work. Velrith stepped forward. Her scales were bright gold. Determined. "If this will save them, use my venom. All of it. As much as you need." Dr. Corvin contacted the Korvax homeworld. Explained the situation. Within minutes, High Elder Silrax appeared on screen. She did not hesitate. "Send concentrated venom immediately," Silrax ordered. "Save the humans. Whatever it takes." They flooded the human quarters with vaporized Korvax venom, the most deadly substance in the galaxy, released intentionally. To save lives instead of taking them, the humans breathed it in. Both toxins mixed in their bloodstreams. For a terrible moment, it seemed like a mistake. Heart rates spiked, blood pressure dropped. Several humans collapsed. Then something amazing happened. One by one, their bodies began to fight back. Their immune systems recognized the Korvax venom, and because it was similar to the purifier toxin, they fought both. At the same time, it took 20 minutes. The longest 20 minutes of everyone's lives. But slowly, surely the humans recovered. All of them. Every single one. Doyen was the first to stand. He was weak but alive. He looked at Velrith and smiled. "Thank you. You saved us. All of us." Velrith's scales were every color at once. Joy, relief, pride. For the first time in history, Korvax venom had been a blessing. Not a... The captured purifier agent sat in an interrogation room. His hands were bound. Guards surrounded him. He was not talking. He just smiled. That smile made everyone uncomfortable. Jiwan stood on the other side of the glass, watching, studying. He knew this type. Fanatics. True believers. They would rather die than betray their cause. But the laboratory they found told a different story. Files, data, communications, everything they needed to track the purifiers. Jiwan and his team started going through it all. It would take time, but they would find answers. Meanwhile, the Galactic Council called an emergency session. What happened on Nexus 7 could not be ignored. This was an attack on Council soil, against a member species. War had been declared even if not officially. Captain Hyejin attended the session. She spoke for humanity. Her voice was strong, clear, angry. The purifiers tried to kill my crew, all of them. Not because of anything we did, but because of where we come from. Because we survived what they thought would kill us. This is not just an attack on humans. This is an attack on every species they consider dangerous. How many others are on their list? How many will die before we act? The council members looked uncomfortable. Some were afraid of the purifiers. Others were afraid of humans. Deathworld species made everyone nervous. An old council member stood. He had gray skin and wise eyes. He spoke slowly, carefully. What Captain Hyejin says is true. We have ignored the purifiers for too long. We thought they were a small problem. Now we see they are a large threat. We must act, but how? Another member asked. The purifiers operate in secret. We do not know where their bases are. We do not know who funds them. Ambassador Threll stood. I have a proposal. We use what the humans have given us. Their resilience. Their ability to adapt. We create a task force. Humans and other species working together. We hunt the purifiers. We shut them down. The council debated for hours. Finally, they voted. The task force was approved. Captain Hyejin would lead the human contingent. Jiwon would handle intelligence, and they would work with security forces from across the galaxy. But there was another development. Something even more important. Yuna and Dr. Corvin had been working nonstop. They had analyzed what happened during the attack, how human immune systems responded to both toxins, and they made a discovery. They called a meeting. Scientists, doctors, politicians, everyone needed to hear this. Yuna stood before the crowd. She looked tired but excited. Her eyes were bright with possibility. We did not just survive the attack. We learned from it. Human antibodies combined with Korvac's venom created something new, a universal defense against neurotoxins. She brought up data on screens. Graphs, chemical structures, protein sequences. We can use this to create a vaccine. Not just for humans, for all species. Protection against biological weapons, against venom, against poison. This changes everything. The room erupted. Questions, excitement, disbelief. Could it really work? Dr. Corvin stepped forward. His crystal body glowed with confidence. We have already tested it on volunteers from 3 different species. All showed increased resistance to toxins. Not complete immunity, but enough to survive long enough for treatment. This is real. This works. High Elder Silrax appeared on a communication screen. She had been listening from the Korvac's homeworld. Her voice was thick with emotion. For thousands of years, my people have been cursed. Our venom made us outcasts, monsters. But now, because of humans, our curse has become a cure. We will dedicate all our resources to this project. Every Korvac scientist will help. This is our chance to give back to the galaxy. Velrith stood beside Doyen. She was crying, tears of joy. Her scales shimmered with colors that meant happiness, hope, belonging. Doyen put his hand on her shoulder. This is just the beginning. Humans and Korvacs working together. We can do amazing things. Over the next few weeks, things moved fast. The Interspecies Immunity Project was established. Research facilities opened on multiple worlds. Human and Korvac scientists worked side by side, sharing knowledge, building trust. At the same time, Jiwon's investigation bore fruit. The data from the Purifier Laboratory revealed locations, names, financial records. The purifiers were not as hidden as they thought. Coordinated raids happened across 30 systems. Purifier cells were captured, their weapons destroyed, their plans exposed. It was not over. The organization was too big to eliminate completely. But it was crippled, weakened, and something else happened. Something unexpected. Other Deathworld species heard about what humans did. How they survived. How they helped. Species that had been isolated like the Korvacs. Species that had been feared. They reached out. The Vracs came first. They looked like giant wolves made of metal. Their planet had crushing gravity. They were incredibly strong, but other species feared their strength. Humans welcomed them, taught them about diplomacy, about using strength to protect instead of threaten. Then came the Sylph. They were crystalline beings that fed on radiation. Most species could not even approach them without protective gear. But humans from Earth understood radiation. They had nuclear power plants, radiation medicine. They could teach the Sylph how to control their emissions. One by one, Death World species joined what became known as the Alliance of Resilient Worlds. It was not a military alliance. It was a cooperation, sharing survival techniques, teaching each other, proving they could be trusted. Captain Hyejin found herself leading this alliance. It surprised her. She was a soldier, not a diplomat, but Ambassador Threll explained it perfectly. You understand what these species face, Threll told her. You know what it is like to be feared, to be judged for your strength instead of your character. You are the right person to lead them, to show the galaxy that Death World species are not threats. They are assets. Doyen continued his work with Velrith. They traveled to different worlds, gave presentations, showed how cooperation between species could create miracles. Their friendship became famous, a symbol of what was possible, but not everyone was happy. The purifiers had been damaged but not destroyed. Their leader, someone known only as the Architect, remained free. And according to Jiwan's intelligence, the Architect was planning something big, something final. Jiwan briefed Captain Hyejin in private. His face was grim. The Architect is not giving up. We hurt their organization, but we also made them desperate. Desperate people do desperate things. What are they planning? Captain Hyejin asked. I do not know exactly, but communications suggest they are building something. A weapon, not a toxin this time. Something worse, something that can target multiple species at once. Can we stop them? Jiwan hesitated. Maybe, if we can find them fast enough. But they have gone deep underground. No communications, no financial transactions. They learned from their mistakes. Captain Hyejin felt the weight of responsibility. So many species now depended on the Alliance, on humanity. They had proven themselves capable. But could they handle this final threat? She gathered her team. Doyen, Yuna, Jiwan, Velrith, even Ambassador Threll and Dr. Corvin joined. They needed everyone, every perspective, every skill. We know the purifiers want to strike again, Captain Hyejin said. We know they are building something, but we do not know where or when. We need ideas. How do we find them? Velrith spoke up. Her scales shifted to deep blue. Thoughtful. They will need resources, rare materials. If they are building a weapon that affects multiple species, they will need samples, biological samples. Jiwan nodded slowly. That is smart. We can track biological sample shipments, see if there are any unusual patterns. Yuna added, they will also need specialized equipment, gene sequencers, protein synthesizers. Those are not common. We can track purchases. Dr. Corvin's body flickered with excitement, and they will need test subjects. Even extremists test their weapons before deployment. Look for medical anomalies, deaths that do not make sense. Illnesses without clear causes. The team split up, each following different leads. Days became weeks. The investigation was slow, frustrating. Every lead seemed to end nowhere. Then Yuna found something. A small medical station in a remote system reported several strange deaths. Different species, different causes, but all involving neural degradation. It matched the purifier toxin profile. Jiwan traced equipment sales to the same system. Specialized laboratory equipment, purchased through front companies, hidden, but traceable if you knew what to look for. They had found them. The purifiers were in the Corvin system, a remote, barely populated area. Perfect for hiding, perfect for building a weapon. Captain Hyejin assembled a strike team, human soldiers, Korvax scientists, security forces from multiple species. This would be dangerous, but it had to be done. As they prepared to leave, Doyen approached Captain Hyejin. I want to come with you, she shook her head. Too dangerous. You are a scientist, not a soldier. If they have built a new weapon, you will need someone who understands toxins, someone whose blood might save lives. That is me. You know it. Captain Hyejin wanted to say no, but he was right. She sighed. Fine. But you stay behind the soldiers. You do not take risks. Doyen smiled. I never take risks. I just keep ending up in dangerous situations. The ships launched, heading toward the Corvin system, heading toward the final confrontation. No one knew what they would find. But they knew one thing. Whatever happened, they would face it together. The ships dropped out of faster-than-light travel at the edge of the Corvin system. 3 moons orbited a dead planet. The middle moon showed signs of activity. Heat signatures. Power readings. That was where the purifiers hid. Captain Hyegen stood on the bridge of the lead ship. Around her, officers from 6 different species worked at their stations. Humans, Korvax, Vrax, Threllians, even 2 Sylth in radiation-shielded suits. This was the future of the galaxy. Working together. Jiwan stood beside her studying tactical displays. The base is underground. 1 main entrance. Possibly other exits we cannot see. They will have defenses, guards, maybe automated systems. Can we just bombard it from orbit? A Vrax officer suggested. His voice was like grinding metal. Destroy the whole facility. No, Captain Hyegen said. They might have the weapon ready. If we destroy the facility, we might release it. It could spread across the system. We need to go in. Shut it down properly. The landing force assembled. 50 soldiers, 5 scientists including Doyen and Yuna. Dr. Corvin insisted on coming too. Someone needed to identify the weapon if they found it. Velrith also joined. She wore specialized equipment that would let her deploy venom in controlled doses. If anyone was hurt, she could provide immediate medical treatment using her own biology. They landed a kilometer from the base. Approached on foot. The moon's surface was gray dust. No atmosphere. Everyone wore environment suits. The only sound was breathing through respirators. When they reached the entrance, it was unguarded. That made Jiwan suspicious, too easy. They want us to come in. It is a trap, a Threllian soldier said. Probably, Captain Hyegen agreed. But we do not have a choice. We go in anyway. Carefully, they breached the entrance. Inside, the facility was larger than expected. Corridors stretched in multiple directions. Rooms filled with equipment. It was a full research station. Well-funded, well-equipped, and empty. No guards, no scientists, no one. They evacuated, Jiwan said. They knew we were coming. The team spread out, searching, looking for the weapon. Looking for any clue about where the purifiers went. Yuna found the main laboratory. It was huge, filled with equipment she recognized. Gene sequencers, synthesizers, incubators. And in the center, a large containment vessel, sealed, glowing with a sickly green light. Over here, she called. I found it. Everyone gathered around the vessel. Dr. Corvin scanned it with his instruments. His body turned dark red. This is bad, very bad. This is not just a toxin. It is a biological weapon. Engineered virus. Designed to target 17 different species. All Death World natives, can we destroy it? Captain Hyegen asked, not safely. If we breach the containment, it will be released. Everyone in this facility will be infected. And we are wearing environment suits. We cannot risk exposure to vacuum. The virus might survive. Then what do we do? Before anyone could answer, alarms started blaring. Red lights flashed. A voice came over the facility's speakers. It was cold, calm, evil. Welcome, the voice said. I am the architect. You have found my gift to the galaxy. In 10 minutes, the containment will open. The virus will be released. You will carry it back to your ships. To your worlds. Death World species will be eliminated, as they should have been long ago. Jiwan ran to the control panel. Tried to stop the countdown, but the system was locked. Encrypted. It would take hours to break. They had minutes. Evacuate, Captain Hyegen ordered. Everyone out now. But Doyen did not move. He stared at the containment vessel, thinking, calculating. Doyen, come on. Velrith pulled his arm. We have to go. Wait, he said. What if we do not destroy it? What if we neutralize it? How? Yuna asked. We do not have time to create an antiviral. No, but we have something better. We have immune systems that already fought similar viruses. What if we expose ourselves? Let the virus infect us? Our bodies will create antibodies, maybe fast enough to stop it from spreading. That is insane, Dr. Corvin said. The virus is designed to kill you, all of you. It is designed to kill Death World natives, Doyen corrected. But we are not normal Death World natives anymore. We have been exposed to Korvax venom. Multiple times. Our immune systems have adapted. They are stronger now. You cannot know that will work, Captain Hyegen said. Her voice was desperate. Please, just leave. We will find another way. There is no other way, Doyen said. And you know it. He removed his helmet. Velrith screamed. Everyone tried to stop him, but it was too late. He breathed the facility air. If the virus was already in the air, he was exposed. Then Yuna removed her helmet too. If you are doing this, I am helping. I am the biochemist. I will monitor what happens. Document it. One by one, every human in the facility removed their helmets. 20 soldiers, 3 scientists, all betting their lives on human adaptability. On Death World resilience, the countdown reached 0. The containment vessel opened. Green gas poured out, filled the room. The humans breathed it in, deliberately, completely. For 30 seconds, nothing happened. Then the symptoms started. Fever, sweating, muscle spasms. It was like the toxin attacks. But worse. Much worse. Soldiers fell to their knees. Doyon collapsed. Yuna caught him before he hit the ground. Her own hands were shaking. But she pulled out her medical scanner. Started taking readings. The virus is aggressive, she gasped. But look, antibody production is starting. Faster than normal. The Korvax venom exposure helped. Our bodies remember how to fight. Velrith stood at the door. Her scales were black with fear. She could not help them. Could not go in. Her venom had already done its part. Now she could only watch. And pray to whatever gods existed. 5 minutes passed. The humans were not dying. They were suffering. But not dying. Their immune systems were fighting, learning, adapting, doing what they did best. 10 minutes passed. The first soldier stood up, weak but alive. Then another. Then another. One by one they recovered. Not completely. They would need treatment. Rest. But they were alive. Doyun was the last to stand. He smiled at Velrith. See? Told you it would work. Then he collapsed again. But he was smiling. Because it had worked. The virus was neutralized. Contained in human bodies that had learned to fight it. Yuna worked quickly. Drawing blood samples from everyone. Isolating antibodies. Within hours she had a treatment, a cure. The architect's weapon had been turned into medicine. The purifiers were finished. Their main base destroyed. Their leader's plan failed. Galactic Security used the information from the facility to find and arrest the remaining cells. The organization was dismantled. The architect was never found. Some said he died in the facility. Others believed he escaped. But without resources or followers, he was powerless. Just another bitter voice in the darkness. 6 months later, Doyon stood in the biodome on Nexus 7. The same place where everything started. Where Velrith accidentally bit him. Where the galaxy learned that humans were not fragile. Velrith stood beside him. The garden had grown. Plants from Earth now grew beside Korvax flowers. Vrax crystals sparkled between the trees. Sylph fungi glowed in the shadows. It was beautiful. A symbol of cooperation. I still cannot believe it, Velrith said. All of this started with an accident. With my mistake, it was not a mistake, Doyon said. It was fate. Your people have a saying, the most potent venom can become the most powerful medicine. I think that applies to more than just toxins. What do you mean? Deathworld species were seen as dangerous, venomous, something to fear. But we became medicine for the galaxy. Protection, defense. Our strength became everyone's strength. Velrith's scales turned gold, that beautiful color of joy. You are right. And it started with you, the human who chuckled off my bite, who refused to be afraid, who chose to help instead of hate. Captain Heejin approached them. She wore a formal uniform. Today was special. The Galactic Council was presenting awards, recognizing those who stopped the purifiers. Ready? She asked Doyon. They want to make you a hero. I am not a hero, Doyon protested. I just did what needed doing. That is what makes you a hero, Captain Heejin said. You never think about glory, only about helping. That is the human way, and the galaxy is better for it. They walked together toward the ceremony hall. Aliens from hundreds of species lined the corridors, watching, applauding. The fear was gone, replaced by respect, admiration, friendship. A small alien child approached Doyon. She looked like a floating bubble with eyes. She offered him a flower, one of the bioluminescent ones from the biodome. It glowed soft blue in her tiny hands. Thank you, the child said in perfect English. You saved my species. You saved everyone. Doyon knelt down, took the flower gently. You are welcome. But remember, we all saved each other. Humans, Korvax, Vrax, Sylph, everyone working together. That is what saved the galaxy. The child floated away, happy, safe. That was what mattered. The next generation growing up in a galaxy where Deathworld species were not monsters, where venom could become medicine, where strength meant protection. The ceremony was grand. Speeches, awards, celebrations. But Doyen kept thinking about that simple moment. The child offering a flower. That was the real victory. Not the medals or the praise, but the peace, the acceptance. That night, Doyen returned to the biodome, alone. He sat among the plants, listening to the quiet, thinking about how far they had come, how one accidental bite had changed everything. Velrith found him there. She sat beside him without speaking. Sometimes silence said more than words. Eventually, Doyen broke the silence. "You know what is funny?